This is 2-2, solving inequalities by adding and subtracting. The good thing is that solving inequalities with addition and subtraction are exactly the same as solving equations. So this shouldn't be too challenging for most of you at this point because we're getting good at isolating the variable. So in example 1a, we want to isolate the a, so I would be adding 42 to both sides. And a is going to be, don't put equals, remember, keep that greater than symbol. That was right there. And negative 64 plus 42 is negative 22. Okay, so we now need to graph that. When I graph this, I put the number that we have, and then I put one number on either side. So negative 22, to the left of negative 22 on a number line is negative 23, and to the right would be negative 21. Greater than is not equal to, so it's an open circle, and since the arrow is pointing, it's a greater than symbol, it's pointing to the right, it's going to match our arrowhead, and so that is my graph. For set builder notation, for all values of a such that a is greater than negative 22. So another. Okay, example B. To isolate P, we'd get rid of that plus 15. We're going to subtract 15 from both sides. And negative 8 minus 15 is negative 23. It's greater than P. Remember, in order to graph, we're going to need P on the left-hand side. So I'm going to switch that, which means my greater than symbol is going to switch to a less than. We're reversing it. And so P is less than negative 23. So I'm going to have my negative 23. To the left would be negative 24. To the right would be negative 22. It's an open circle, and it's less, so it's going left. Set builder notation. All values of P such that P is less than negative 23. Example 2, Ellen has $150 to spend at the mall. Okay, so her total amount is $150. She purchases a CD for $16.99, a shirt for $41.99, and a lunch for $5.25. She still wants to purchase a pair of shoes. What amount could you spend on the shoes? So the first thing I want to think about is my variable, which is the shoes. It's going to be X. The total amount that she can spend is $150. And what she has spent already, we can add those up. That was the $41.99, $16.99, $41.99, and $5.25. So we'll get the total of those. So she spent $64.23 already. So $64.23 plus the cost of shoes, which we're calling X, cannot be over $150. She only has $150 to spend. So she could spend $150, so equal to $150, or she could spend less than $150. She doesn't have to spend the whole amount. Okay, and now we would solve. So we're solving for X. I can subtract $64.23 from both sides. And so X has to be less than or equal to $85.77. On shoes. Okay, example 3. Mrs. Lawrence wants to buy an antique bracelet at an auction. She is willing to bid no more than $550. So far, the highest bid is $475. Write and solve an inequality to determine the amount Miss Lawrence can add to the bid. Check your answer. Well, the first thing we need to know is that no more than would have to be less than or equal to $550. Okay, so I know that that's going to be part of this. And the highest bid so far was $475 plus X. Okay, and then we can go ahead and solve, put a dollar sign there. So minus $475 from both to isolate that X. And X is less than or equal to $75. And we can check that to make sure. So if we pick a number either less than or equal to $75, so I could pick 75 if I want to, then I can plug that in. 475 plus 75 less than or equal to 550, and I get 550 is less than or equal to 550, which is true because it's not less than, but it is equal to, and it said less than or equal to. So that's correct.